Om Shanti. Good morning, Divine Family. So, today we will be having a Murli Bandhan session based on one of the Murli that we read last week. The title, Be Constantly Loving, 27th 03 1986 Murli. So, Arif Bhai will be doing a Mandhan session on this Murli today. Yeah. Arif Bhai, over to you.
Shanti, can you hear me?
Yes, Arif Bhai, can you?
I don't know, for some reason I'm not able to start the video camera. Please select another video camera. Just try.
Yes. Yeah, we can see you now.
Shanti, and very good morning. So I thought this was an appropriate topic from last week that we could look at. And maybe first just to recall some of the parts of that Murli, and then maybe I will share some thoughts and then we can all share together. So Baba mentioned about love and the lines between the various types of love that makes us number-wise. They're very thin line from one to the other, but have great impact. And it's good to reflect and see what is it that my stage is. It's a very good reflective Murli to look at, because, when Baba says, sometimes it seems like, in some aspects I'm here and in another aspects I'm somewhere else. And overall, I think most important thing is to reach some kind of position where I feel happy about that my efforts have reached that level. So from that point of view, I think we need to look at this Murli. So Baba said that there are several things which are results of having love for the Father. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind always is love is a catalyst that helps things become easy, or that makes things convenient and fast, And always Baba never miss when Baba talks about love, there will be something connected to things becoming easy. So that's the first thing. Baba says that this love is an easy way, you know, makes you easy yogi. And second thing is that Baba says that it's the way that we can forget the old world. So the reason that we remember the old world is because there is still something that we are taking from there. But once you have somebody that you love, you only take from the one that you love. So we forget the old world. It is our foundation of this life, okay? And then we get sustained by that same love. Yeah? And so Baba says, even though that this love is for everyone, we go to Madhuban because we are pulled by that love. there is still some difference, and Baba mentioned three kinds of um, love that we have. One is constant love, and then the other one is um, just loving. One is constantly loving. Second is just loving. And the third category is those who fulfill the responsibility of love according to the time. So constantly loving, just loving, and then those who fulfill the responsibility of love depending on the time. Okay? So those who are constant, let's listen to those who are constantly loving. They are merged in love. They are always beyond having to make effort and to experience difficulty. Neither do they have to make effort, nor do they experience anything to be difficult. Okay, so you can take a note. Anything that I find difficult, and do I have to all the time make effort? That's one sign of those who are constantly in love. Because they are constantly in love, the elements of nature and Maya becomes their servant from now on. That is, constantly loving soul becomes the masters. Therefore, the element of nature and Maya automatically becomes servant. Okay? So that's one important um, aspect of how the ones who are in love would be, that they would not, struggle, because of that, having that love. Yeah. And also, Baba says that they don't depend on the Maya or the elements or any kind of support. These are the souls that who have all the powers. So when I'm powerful, I'm not dependent on anyone or anything. So their stage, the constant loving souls, is praised as those who belong to the one Father and none other. The Father is their world. So it's quite clear. This category is quite clear. They are constantly in love, constantly have love for the Father. They're constantly free from all kind of efforts. The difficulties become support for them, okay? And you know, they're stable there. When we look at the second category, which is the second type, who Baba mentioned, they're just loving. Um, they definitely remain loving, but because they are not constant, their thoughts and they're not constant, their thoughts, and through them, their love sometimes goes in other direction. So sometimes their love goes in other direction. In transforming themselves, every now and again, they experience having to make effort, and sometimes they experience difficulty, but but very little. Okay, so sometimes they experience difficulty, but very little, not so much. Okay, whenever there is subtle attack from the elements of nature or Maya, then because of love, they have remembrance very quickly, and they very quickly transform themselves with their power of remembrance. So first the difficulties come, and then they are able to remember and they are able to transform. Okay, but having to go through those difficulties, this category, Maya and the elements are not servants who actually help them. Okay, so however, Baba says some of their time and their thoughts are used in overcoming difficulties and in making effort. Okay, so there is still some effort required. Sometimes their love becomes ordinary, and other times they remain absorbed in love. Okay, they continue there continues to be a difference in the state. Nevertheless, not too much of their time or their thought is wasted. So a little bit like, Maya has to come to remind them that, oh yeah, Baba is there. Okay. So the stage fluctuates. Nevertheless, not too much of their time or their thought is wasted. This is why, although they are loving, they are not constantly loving, and they therefore become the second number. Okay? So this is the category of loving, but Baba calls them just loving, not constantly loving. Now let's look at the third category, and then we can talk about it. So the third type are those who fulfill the responsibility of love according to the time. Such souls believe that true love cannot be received from anyone except the one Father, and that this spiritual love will make you elevated for all time. They have total knowledge, that is understanding, and they still love just this life of love. They still love just this life of love. However, because of not having controlling power, due to their attachment to their own bodies or sanskars, or attachment to particular old sanskars, attachment to the sanskars of person or possession, or to the sanskars of having wasted thoughts, they carry burden of waste thoughts. They carry burden of waste thoughts, or because they lack the power of gathering, they are unable to be successful in a gathering. A situation in the gathering finishes their love and pulls them towards itself. Some of them always become disheartened very quickly. 1 minute they would be flying very high, but if you look at them the next minute, they would be disheartened, even with themselves. This sanskars of becoming disheartened with themselves doesn't allow them to be constantly loving. Some type of sanskars attracts them towards situation or nature. They get into an upheaval, but then because they experience love and love the life of love, they are nevertheless able to remember the Father. They try to become merged in the Father's love once again. So because of coming into upheaval according to the time and the situation, they sometimes have remembrance and sometimes are battling. Because they spend a greater part of their life battling, their lives of being absorbed in love are then less in comparison. This is why they take the third number. Nevertheless, to be in the third number, compared with all the souls of the world, would still be said to be extremely elevated, because they have recognized the Father, they belong to the Father and the Brahmin family. They are at least called the most elevated Brahmin souls, the Brahma Kumaris and Kumaris. This is why, in comparison to the world, even they, the third type, are loving souls. However, in comparison to perfection, they are the third number. So all are loving, but number-wise. The number one, constantly loving souls, the number one, constantly loving souls are constantly like lotus flower, detached and extremely loving to the Father. Loving souls are detached and loving, but they are not powerful. Okay, so what's the distinction? One is with power. The second category is they are just they are called loving souls are detached and loving, but they are not powerful, victorious like the Father. Okay, so that is the difference. The love means the power is missing. Okay, They're not absorbed in love, but are loving. Their special slogan is, I belong to you and I will remain yours. They constantly continue to sing this song. Nevertheless, they have love and they therefore remain 80% safe. However, there is still the word sometimes that comes in between. The word constantly is not used about them. The third number source, now Baba is talking about the third number source, because of repeatedly having to connect their love, also continue to make promises with love. That's it. From today, I will become like this. From now on, I will do this because they know the difference. They make promises and they make effort, but one particular sanskar or another doesn't allow them to remain lost in love. An obstacle brings them down from their stage of being lost in love. Therefore, the word constantly cannot be used about them because they are sometimes like this and at other times like that. They still have one particular weakness or other. Such souls have very sweet heart-to-heart conversation with Baba. They demonstrate having a lot of rights. They say that the direction is from you, but you can also do it for us, and I will attain the reward of that. They say that with love and right. Since they have made me belong to, you have made me belong to you, it is now up to you. The father says the father knows, but the child should at least accept it. However, those children say with the right, those children say with the right whether I accept it or not. You will have to accept me as I am. So the father still feels mercy for such children because they are Brahmin children after all. Therefore, he also gives special power to the instrument souls. However, some do take their power and transform themselves, whereas others, even though they receive power, they remain so lost in their own sanskars that they are unable to imbibe everything. Sorry, they are unable to imbibe that power. If you give something nourishing to them, to someone to eat, and he doesn't eat it, what would happen? So the father gives special love to some, and special love, and some do gradually become powerful and change from third type of soul to second type of soul. However, because some are unable to take such much as they should, all three types of the children are loving children. They all have the title of being loving children, but they are number wise. So thank you to bear for me. Let's just have one moment before we go into unpacking and seeing some of the aspects of this movie. So, maybe we can hear from you first, um, because you have already read the movie earlier and also revised now. Any thoughts that come to your mind about how we can use this movie?
Om Shanti, everyone. Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
This was one Murli which really opened me up, and I think I have not come out of this Murli. For the first time, I didn't know where do I place myself. It was such a difficult thing because probably I took God's love for granted. I took anyway I belong to you, anyway I'm yours. So who else can I love? So it's like just taking somebody for granted, I thought. Even though at the end he gives us a nice feeler, a nice kind of thing. So what if you're not constantly in love, just in love? You still are better than the world outside over there, because that's one thing, you belong to me, recognize me. That was
Yeah.
nice. But I was just thinking, sometimes the third type of love, the second type of love, just loving, even I didn't take it because that is just a small thing I know you can jump over. That's why even in the Murli, if he says, Baba says, what to do to go from the third type of love to second type of love. He never spoke even about second to one because that is just a slippery thing. Just
Yeah.
reach out your hand, you'll go to the first.
Yeah.
But this love, because it's only love which brought God's love which brought us together over here. And I've heard of this divine love and all when we are in bhakti and all. I've heard a lot about divine love, that it's not discriminatory. But here I found, when I found the discrimination, like Baba is saying, you are like this, you are like this, you are like this. It really, I didn't know where did I stand. For me, sometimes it was just like silence, just to think.
Mm.
See, even a child, when it's in a womb, the only person it knows is that person from whom it gets its thing. So it doesn't know anyone else.
Yeah.
It's only later when it comes out of the womb, it recognizes this one, that one, this. So even I tell Baba, Baba, it was always you. But you cannot even blame us why we went in other directions, because that's how it is. You threw us in the world. It's not that we left you. We came down here for a part.
Yeah.
But I've still, to be honest, I'm still trying. You listed out all this, the third type of love, but I really cannot justify. And that list is so long than other than the first and second one and all. The list is very long. I've still not found out a list, and I try to justify myself to say I don't think that it's fair that Baba really calls this third type of love. I've still, just to be honest, I've not come out of that
Mm.
Murli still. Om Shanti.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a moment. Let's hear from others first. But it's quite interesting, and I can relate to what you're saying as well. So it's very good. Vijit bhai,
Yeah, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yeah. So,
Carry on.
okay. Yeah. So when I started this journey, I suppose I was in the first category. Then now I feel, having read the Murli, I feel I'm in the second category now. I'm assuming that in a few years, I may jump into the third category,
Oh,
which
you're
is
going the
some,
other way.
yeah, I mean,
The other way, this upwards, no?
see, when I started, I think just
Yeah,
I was very curious to know this knowledge, and then also I did not realize Baba. It took some time, definitely.
yeah,
And then having understood Baba, I found it very interesting. And yes, that is where that love started. And then having understood Baba is everything. And felt very fortunate being, his child, and started enjoying life, in his company, and also change the lifestyle, everything accordingly, so that I can enjoy this confluence age in his remembrance. So I feel, yes, I'm in the second category, because why I'm not saying in the first category, because there are times where I experience little difficulty, challenges. Sometimes, it's all depends on when there is a situation outside, when I have to deal with it, and then when I sometimes deal with it, then that is there in my intellect, and I may find difficulty to enjoy that connection with Baba. So and also when a problem comes, still here and there, that fight happens, sometimes internally. So I don't want to really say that I have reached that constantly loving stage. So I have not really. If I look at it, I still need to work upon that. And I was also thinking about the constant lovers, as you were saying. So they become conquerors of Maya, and the nature will become their servants, right? So what does it really mean? Because, they will conquer Maya, that's for sure. But how Maya and nature will become their servant here? Or will it be in the Satyug? What is that really? What is that real secret that behind when Baba says constant loving? They will make Maya and nature their servant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good one. We'll take it up. Let's hear from others first. Anyone else?
Om Shanti. Thank you, Arif Bhai, and such a wonderful session. I am in miss second category, just miss remembering Baba plus the miss efforts yani is required. Means effort is to effort, but I am miss focusing on constant love. And constant love, yani ki I am doing, and whatever task I am doing, I am remembering Baba. But yeah, but how to become a into from shift from you have to gear for suppose someone is suppose I'm in two, but someone is there to means in a third category, है ना? So how to make them for first we have to shift from second to one, and suppose someone is in third category, to how to shift from third to two to one. So this is a wonderful exercise. If you can elaborate on that, thank you very much.
Good. Good.
Om Shanti.
So how the elements and Maya become support, and how to help those who are below and they are struggling to bring them up. Yeah. Any other thoughts, other points, other questions from other people? Nothing from others? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not checking out chat box. Let me see. Okay, nothing on the chat box. So nothing from others? What did you like? Where you are? Where you're moving? What are your thoughts? And how can anybody has some thoughts also on the questions that have been asked? No? Okay, maybe they prefer to listen today. Okay, so I think let's start with the first one first. It is quite like when you read the Murli, as I said at the beginning, sometimes I feel it's here, sometimes I feel it's there, and sometimes, it's like, really it's like this, But really, I totally understand and relate to the third category because Baba has just mentioned the first two, and they're very straightforward and direct. Basically, what I see is like the golden age and the silver age. When we explain that, the difference is quite minute, And Baba actually talked most about the third category. And I feel that I can understand and relate so much to those details that Baba has given. What are they? Where are they? How do they move? You know. So if someone is completely free from all sanskars, then I think they should consider first and second. But if you are still somehow having some kind of influence in using those sanskars, means that there is some identification from the old that is still there, And if I'm honest, I would say that yes, I can see some old sanskars still being there. And sometimes, Baba put it very clearly, in a group of Brahmins, in situation where you have to work together, you know. And I totally believe that there are people who are in the second and the first category, but I think the third category is the one that um, I can see what Baba is speaking because even after being supported, we still don't have that much power, and there is a lot of fluctuation that happens. You know, there is a lot of effort that happens. You know, some negativity also comes up. Okay, so with regards to Girijaban, I think it will take a while, I think, to understand completely. And I think once we go to even the second, I think the second stage is very, very high. So even if you are in the second stage, you are very fortunate. You're very, very, very fortunate because um, the difference is only that, like a little struggle, and then you go back to the first. So basically, the second level is actually like the first. So they just kind of little bit of fluctuation. So that's how I see it. Okay. With regard to Brothers Vijit's question about how the Maya and the elements become um, supportive. Okay. So what happens is that, like Maya is Maya and elements are element, and they operate according to them. They don't operate according to us. But what happens is when I reach a stage of being full of love, there is a lot of power. So, sometimes when we are able to use the disadvantage as our advantage, you know, like, you know, um, if we are able to work in the energy of the other person and make something useful out of that, then I would say that's the kind of uh, mastery that we have. Maya is going to be Maya, element is going to be element. Forget about them not being who they are. But my experience of that particular Maya or that particular element is actually supporting me to my own growth. Okay. So not only that I am stable when there is Maya, but I can actually use the disadvantage and make it an advantage. So according to the new definition of resilience, is that some situation that is difficult for me. And when this situation comes, initially we used to say we bounce back. Okay, but now we say that we bounce back higher. The situation actually puts us even higher than where we were. That's what resilience is. So in that context, I would say that when Maya is making you even more stronger, that's how it becomes something helpful. So, and I have seen that, the more, some people, the more difficulty they face, actually they are improving even more, because when you are not challenged, then sometimes you are in that comfort zone. So I feel that this is that kind of support that we get from the elements, like not only you survive, but you thrive in that atmosphere. You adjust yourself so much. And I feel it's only me. It's not to do with, nothing to do with the way elements operate. The elements just are natural. We have created this kind of elements that we have to face at the moment. Okay, so I think that touches that part. And the third part is, how can we help? Sorry. How can we help? I think the biggest help is to be an example. I don't, like to try and correct other people. I know even with this thought that, I'm going to help someone, I feel that it's a little bit not very effective. So when I become powerful, I become full of love. I think people get inspiration from my behavior, and therefore they can move up. Second thing is completely acceptance of the others. So if I see somebody struggling, I understand that the reason that they are struggling is because that's where they are in their life. And so by accepting them, not accepting whatever weakness that they have, but accepting that that's where they are, is the biggest help that I can give them, to make them see the gap, make them want to actually move further, because it's only by acceptance that I can actually start seeing where the improvement can happen. Okay, and Baba actually mentioned that they do get all the support from the seniors, from those who are their support system. But sometimes if you don't take that support, then, so I believe that it's more about acceptance, that we are number wise, but we are all together and we are all going together. And just by understanding is they're like that. But to understand that, look, the reason that they are where they are is because of their circumstances and their story behind, you know, um, whichever way that they have come. Right? So these are some of the things. I don't know how, any comments from the brothers who asked the question. Do you feel that makes a little bit more sense now?
Yes, Arif, I got the point. The acceptance, you have to be able to accept what are the challenges they are facing and give them one I got. And also, you said rightly said that we can transform others. We can means, give the inspirations to them.
There's one
So,
more thing one more thing also that is quite useful. See there, whatever that goodness that is there at the moment. You know, if you are able to do that, then slowly, slowly, you will start noticing that they will start seeing you very differently, and they will start seeing themselves differently. If you continuously, even though like they have 10 things that are, not so good, but they have two things. Just look at those two things constantly.
okay. So someone has no sanskar of loving, yani ki suppose ki no attachment. Suppose that there are the people, so they are not accepting the what are the suppose in home, suppose suppose one is spiritual, but someone is not in that love or spirituality or everything is the knowledge or accepting. Acceptance power is supposedly we accept I suppose accept. Suppose in family one member is not accepting because of his old sanskar. That I accept. But through shift from the means to we have to give them power or like that. So this is a means this what a
Yeah,
challenging task.
so any see uh, anything anything good has power. So my behavior, my treatment of other people, whatever they are, whoever they are, they might be, from, they might be BKs, they might not even be BKs, but
Hmm.
there is no one in this world who doesn't have anything good. So my vision should try and focus on those good aspects that, whatever it is, maybe they might be good in some word, you know, even that,
Okay.
you know, just, and I'm not saying about like, trying to just unnecessarily talk about, that, oh, this great and that way. No, I'm saying genuinely to be able to see, even not speaking about it, but if you are able to see something good in that person, try to look at that good. Try to
Okay.
just, go and see that, okay, I think that this guy does this thing very well. You know, just you acknowledge that in your mind, you know.
Hmm.
So I think that's I feel quite useful. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Triggering that.
Yeah. And also must give a dosage of love. Yani ki to that will also help them. I
Yeah.
think so.
And the power of love
Thank you.
is so, like we have seen, no? How
Yeah.
the elders were and how loving they were. Like totally, like, you would see that, somebody goes to this senior and the seniors meets them so nicely. And you look at that person and you say that, oh, this person is so, horrible,
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
seniors, they like we feel that, they don't know. No, they know, but it's just that their nature is so loving that these people get the upliftment.
Absorb. Yeah.
Yeah. Many have said that we came with complaint and question, but in front of, they go to some dadis and, and they say that we forget everything because of that energy that they spin around them. So you
Mhm.
can become like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a wonderful. And again, I got. I have no power of love.
Yeah.
It's a very this transform anybody.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, the wonderful
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Arif.
you. Thank you.
Arif Bhai,
Yes, please.
you really tried to paint a wonderful picture. And it's so nice even for me to hear some of them still think they are in the second category, even then no need to worry at all. You're already in the first because, as I said, just the word sometimes is there, and that's easily, I think, can be removed.
Mm.
But the same thing when this Murli was read earlier, there were two things Baba had said. Now, when this brother was speaking about a person and all, I think so clearly Baba is saying we lack the controlling power.
Yeah.
So, this attachment to one person's samskar, to a person's possession, that
Mm.
also brings that. So, I think these are all things which really can be taken care of. I can check the influence of the attachment to my body, to my samskar. It's not easy. It's not easy for me to just throw away that influence and to get that controlling power. Of course, it's a process which we try to do at Amrit Vela or in our heart to heart conversation with God. But this power of gathering, which Baba said, really, we were trying to discuss that in that session. We couldn't, because I remember, as I told you, I was often brought up in a convent. So this Bible always says, the community feeling which is there among these people, worship together, love Jesus together, is really a kind of thing which makes them steadfast in love. This power of gathering. I always used to think power of gathering means unity in thoughts or unity in belief. You say, I accept. There's no conflict. So I was trying to work even with that power of gathering, but it's not easy to just say I can do that controlling power. It's, see, 63 births I have been running about here, and it's like grease on me. All this thing is like grease, and to remove the grease, I have to think. So as I told you, you really try to give a very positive picture about it. But I think for me personally, honestly, it's a process, because this was an awakening for me to know about this. Every word what Baba said and all. But still, I asked Baba only one question. I was on my own. You came, you picked me up, you held me close to your heart. Now, I came to you because you were like a magnet. I loved you. So, isn't it also your task to see that I am yours, that I don't run away? Why do you throw me in categories? This is what my honest, it's just my conversation with God. That's what I wanted to share.
To me, Girjaben, I think I notice in my own life and also in others and also in nature, those who are struggling the most are loved the most, you know, because, when something is moving smoothly, you kind of, okay, this is moving smoothly already. But our attention as parents will always go to the one who's weak, so they'll get, maybe you shout at them whatever, but your attention will be on them. So I don't think there is, Baba knows very well, and Baba listens very well, and Baba loves those who are honest, so the most, he says himself, right? So, just we keep our honesty, and we also have the faith that Baba will help everyone basically, and Baba will, is taking back all of us. So somehow, you know, the destination is there. And I feel that, sometimes to focus on what is it that I have is helping me more than focusing on the gaps. Knowing that the gaps are there, but focusing on what I have. So that that might be an approach that I would take. But yeah, it's okay. It's all okay. And we are all, like Baba said, not as a consolation, but truly speaking, we are because, you can see the world, where the world is, but once we become Brahmin, we take it for granted then, but really it's such an um, honor to be actually uh, in this knowledge. Vijit Bhai, you were saying something?
No, I got what you're saying. Yeah, it's really, when you think from that perspective, of course, I also feel the Murli, mainly the teaching that Baba is giving is, of course, to the third category,
Yeah.
right? So, and true, because they have to be looked after, and they are the one actually getting the most sustenance. So when, even in the family also, like you mentioned, the one who elder, right, in the family, so they are not really looked after. They have to look after the old one, and also the parents will have extra care for the younger one, right? So
Those who have
so in a way, if I
yeah,
if I look at it from your standpoint, then being in the third category is good, so that you'll get more care and support power from Baba.
yeah, and like really speaking, I mean, um, there are some good days where you feel so much you're there. But there are also the ups and downs. Even little bit, is a still, there is something, even in your mind, sometimes when you go that way. But obviously, yeah, it's good to be there, but it's also good to be aware that, you know, um, I'm not. I'm not creating an illusion, I need to be able to check, really openly and clearly and see. Sometimes I can be, like many times there is this question of Dadi being asked, how much do you remember? And he said, just a few minutes. Really, so that shows their
Yeah,
honesty, and that shows, that it's not as easy as it might seem to be.
yeah, very true.
Yeah. So, that kind of thing, that kind of thing.
Arif Bhai, when we were young, we call it as crazy love, crazily in love.
Yeah.
In Tamil, we used to call it as Pittukuli. There
Yeah.
was a saint called as Murugadas. He
Yeah.
used to run from there, strip himself and say, Muruga, Muruga. And that mad love, that was crazy in love. But now I feel it's more sensible in love.
Yeah.
That craziness and love, I've read all these saints and philosophers who are madly in love with God.
Yeah.
Even they left their houses and all ran to the forest to get absorbed. So it's not that there were not such people, they were there. Only thing, the destination was something
Yeah.
vague, and that they always thought they will be aham brahmasmi. That was a kind of absorption they felt. So it's not that the world didn't have such crazy people, but now
Yeah.
here it's a sensible love.
Yes.
That's why we are getting categories and all over here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say it was an eye opener for me
Yeah.
to just know there were so many Murlis and all. See, I don't mind if I'm in the third because I know I can go to the first, but from the second, if I come to the third, I think that's bizarre. I
Yeah.
don't want it's okay as long as I'm in the third. You can definitely reach up one rather than thinking, will I go to the third later? But
I think
still I think the Murli is an eye opener.
many Murli that Baba talks about and Baba creates these stages. I don't think there is one choice out of the three. So, they have this D option, all of the above. Sometimes it feels like, I'm all of the above in some way, because sometimes you are like this. You're never like only one or the other. And I feel I would put all of the above, depending on the situation and time. But, I'm sure, all of whether it's 1 year in Gyan or 10 years in Gyan or 30 years in Gyan, whatever the number of years, you are seeing yourself moving. You are always seeing yourself moving. Just there is one chat
Yeah,
that's yeah,
balancing of this. It's very,
yeah,
it's a now it looks like that a balancing of this.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Amiji says, remain constantly loving beyond the influence of Maya. Let love make effort easy and remembrance natural. Use language of love with thousands, with transcends all barriers. Yeah, very good advice.
And one more thing to add, if I,
Yes, sure.
somewhere, if I make myself aware that I am in the third category, then I'm going to put more effort. I'm going to give more time for myself to intensify my purusharth. If I see myself in the second
Yeah.
category, then somehow I will compromise myself. Oh, I am already in an elevated stage, so I don't need to. I'll kind of take it easy right? Take it for granted.
Yes.
So, so if I can definitely see myself growing from the third category to second, then definitely my Purushartha is going to really come faster and intensify. That's definitely helped me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
Than
see that,
having
you
that,
know, you
yes.
plateau in one, this one, and then there's no growth, you know. So challenges have to be there, and you have to see the challenge, and you have to see that you are actually moving with that first question that you asked. No? So you're using the challenges actually for you to grow. So, but they are
Yeah.
there, they are seen. You know? So that keeps you there and keeps you moving. Okay.
Yeah, with the interest of time, Arif Bhai, we
Um,
can,
yes, we will pause here. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Any announcement that are there?
No, Arif Bhai, thank you.
Okay, so just let's have 1 minute of meditation before we go.
Om Shanti. Amiben, over to you for closing the session.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Arif Bhai. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a lovely day.